In 1874, Carl Wernicke identified the region of the brain responsible for language comprehension, mapped it precisely to the posterior left temporal lobe, and named it. And then neurologists began finding patients with that region completely destroyed who still understood every word spoken to them. They still cannot account for where the comprehension is coming from. Carl Wernicke was 26 years old when he published the paper. He had been studying patients who shared a specific unsettling profile. They could speak fluently. No pausing, no searching, no halting mid-sentence. Their speech had rhythm and grammar and confidence, and it was complete nonsense. Words assembled with the surface structure of language and none of its meaning. Wernicke traced the damage to a specific patch of cortex, posterior temporal left hemisphere, just behind the auditory processing regions. That area, he argued, is where incoming speech gets decoded. It's where sound becomes sense. Destroy it and meaning stops arriving. The patients bearing this out are hard to forget. A woman in her 60s, post-stroke, sits across from a neurologist. She speaks in what sounds like sentences. The window told the clock to leave before the blue one came back. She pauses. She waits for a response as if she said something clear. When the neurologist asks if she understands him, she nods immediately. She says yes. Her MRI shows a complete lesion. Wernicke's area gone. She cannot hear the word salad coming out of her own mouth. She has no awareness the decoder is broken. The model is holding. Damage the area, lose comprehension. The rule feels airtight, so the obvious theory writes itself cleanly. Wernicke's area is the comprehension module. It receives acoustic signals from the auditory cortex, maps them to stored meaning, and delivers language its sense. Remove the module, the sense goes with it. The double dissociation is neat. Broca's area handles production, Wernicke's handles comprehension. Damage one, lose speech. Damage the other, lose understanding. For nearly a century, this is what medical students were taught. The diagram had boxes and arrows and clean directional labels. It felt like an answer, but here's what makes that impossible. Documented cases exist, multiple, replicated across institutions, of patients with complete lesions of the classical Wernicke's area who scored normally on standardized language comprehension tasks. Not reduced, normal. They followed complex instructions. They answered accurately. They distinguished between semantically similar sentences that differed by a single word. Their brains were scanned and rescanned. The tissue Wernicke identified was absent or non-functional. The comprehension was not. Researchers assumed plasticity. The brain must have rerouted. But several of these patients had acute, sudden-onset damage, not the slow erosion that allows gradual rewiring. There was no recovery period, no compensation lag. Whatever was handling comprehension was already handling it before Wernicke's area went offline. And then the imaging data started complicating everything else. When neuroimaging became precise enough to watch Wernicke's area activate in real time, researchers expected to find it lighting up during language tasks. It did, but it also activated during music processing, during face recognition, during environmental sound identification. The posterior superior temporal gyrus lit up when subjects watched silent video of a mouth moving, no audio, no language, just the visual motion of speech. It activated during certain stages of sleep. Researchers began proposing that Wernicke's area was never a language center at all. It was a convergence zone, a region where sensory streams from multiple modalities intersect and interact. Language happened to run through it, but the region wasn't language-specific. And if that's true, the century-old framework of where comprehension lives doesn't need revision. It collapses. The competing models that follow don't resolve it cleanly. The dual-stream model reroutes comprehension through a ventral pathway running from the temporal lobe forward. Wernicke's area becomes a relay station, not a destination. The predictive coding framework argues the temporal cortex isn't decoding incoming speech at all. It's generating predictions about what should arrive next and flagging mismatches, comprehension as anticipation, not reception. Distributed processing models say there's no center to find, that understanding is an emergent property of a whole brain network with no locatable seat. Each model accounts for some of the data. None fully accounts for the acute onset patients who lose Wernicke's area completely and don't lose comprehension. The explanations are more sophisticated than they were in 1874. The anomaly is not closed. You're understanding these words right now. Each one has arrived with meaning. The region Carl Wernicke identified as the structure responsible for that, mapped, named, and taught as foundational for 150 years, may not be doing what anyone thought it was doing. Which raises a question that no imaging study has yet answered. If not there, then where?